let's talk about materialists. So, A24 advertised this as a new rom-com of the summer, and many would agree that it was not. Now, whether or not you think this is broke man propaganda or get back with your ex propaganda, I think this one was intended to have good intentions, so obviously it raises some concerns. Why is it promoting women to struggle for love, especially in a financial way? Is it preparing us for a recession? Are we really romanticizing the struggle millions of people face so that we're better prepared when it happens to us? Well, yes and no. The movie has Lucy as our main character, and Lucy works as a matchmaker for people ready to get married. So in her perspective, she uses checkboxes to determine if people will be a good match for each other. Same upbringing, check. Same political beliefs, check. Same financial tier, check. And this method has helped her match 9 couples into marriage. So it has some credibility to it. But the first example we get of one of her successful matches is not exactly true love. The bride cries into Dakota Johnson's arms. Oh yeah, this has the Dakota Johnson in it.
I love limes. I love them. They're great. I love them so much, and I like to present them.
What do you do with all those limes?
I actually didn't even know that they were in there. I was giving the tour and went into the kitchen, and it was set dressing. It was hard to just ignore them, so I just lied.
But anyways, the bride cries to her that she doesn't feel like this marriage is necessary, and that she's really only marrying this man because it makes her sister jealous. So, not an ideal match made in heaven, but Lucy turns this around by telling her she only feels that way because her soon-to-be husband makes her feel valuable. And there it is, our key word for the rest of this film. So this is good enough for our bride and she marries her mans. Awesome. After this interaction, you're not meant to think that Lucy is some kind of con artist of love, but she's confused about love as well. And at this wedding, she meets Harry, who's played by PEDRO PASCAL. And guess what? He checks all her boxes. He's nice, handsome, charming, and rich. And Lucy emphasizes that she's looking for someone who has money, which I don't think is necessarily a crime, but we learn why it's important to her later. Harry is putting great moves on Lucy, but all of a sudden, John shows up. Now, John is Lucy's ex from when they were around 20, and they ended up splitting up because John was quite literally too broke. Okay, well, it's understandable to be broke and living in New York in your 20s, and he's a struggling artist. It's his dream to be an actor, which, again, is understandable. But the reason Lucy breaks up with John is because they start arguing about money, and Lucy doesn't want to end up like her parents, and I guess they also had the same issues with money as well. But John shows up again, at the ripe age of 37, still broke. This is where there's a lot of controversy, because why didn't he take all those years to better himself, or why should he have to have money to get the girl? And that's kind of what the movie plays into. And we've seen this time and time again, the underdog man versus the fancy rich one. And this story has done well in the past, but this time the women are just not standing for it, which I think speaks volumes about where our heads have to be nowadays, because no one wants to be the girlfriend supporting her broke artist boyfriend while he says, "Don't worry, babe, I'll make it big someday." And I think we realize it's a self-centered mindset for a man in a relationship to have, especially if he could very well make money if he tried. This is a white, handsome man we're talking about, and I don't think his options are very limited. And I think that's where the story loses its audience, because he's choosing to be broke and not better himself. Most people genuinely cannot make a living while they're trying, and that's a big difference. They're giving it their all to support each other, and that's where they messed up on the writing, because people realize this does not apply to them and their hard-working partner. This is a man-child refusing to grow up. Especially when my girl makes $80K a year with no college degree, so it's very well possible in this universe. So aside from John's character, the story is sweet and it intends to have a good message, but at some points in the film, Lucy ends up sending one of her clients on a date where she is assaulted. Yeah, and it comes out of nowhere. And after this happens, Lucy stalks and chases down this woman and tries to talk to her about the situation. Stalks and chases a woman who's been assaulted. What? This plotline makes the movie less of a rom-com and more of a drama, which is fine, but the movie was not advertised that way. It's called The Materialist because it gets too material. That's really bad. But anyways, this plotline is meant to show Lucy that even though he may check all the boxes, that doesn't mean you know him or you even love him. So at this point in the movie, Harry and Lucy have been dating for a little while, and he's about to take her to Iceland for her dream vacation. Lucy is sleeping next to Harry in his $12 million apartment, and she notices scars on his legs. He notices her looking at them, and he quickly gets up and leaves the room. Okay, so we're thinking, oh no, he has some sort of traumatic past and they're about to connect over this. Tell me why this man genuinely had knee surgery to make himself taller. And earlier in the movie, they mentioned this exact procedure and how men should get it if they can afford it because it's a good investment. So it's here that Lucy realizes her relationship with Harry has been nothing but superficial and they don't actually love each other. It's also revealed that Harry used to be 5'6", so he had some self-esteem issues that he still carries with him. But are they really trying to convince us that the Pedro Pascal would be an undesirable man just because of his height? So it just feels silly, but that's the whole point of this scene. So Lucy realizes she needs more than checkboxes for a relationship. She needs love. And that's great. What a wonderful message. Tell me why she's on this broke man's doorstep 2 seconds later. What? So again, this isn't about him being broke. It's about John not making the effort for her at all. Earlier in the movie, she tells Harry how he makes her feel valuable because he's putting in the effort to take her to nice places and get to know about her dreams. But never do we hear her say that John makes her feel valuable, and that's because he puts in zero effort for her. So why did she choose him? Well, we accept the love we think we deserve, and at many points in the movie, Lucy says she feels like she does not deserve Harry's attention because she's too poor for him or she's not smart enough for him, so she doesn't have good self-esteem. I think she was just familiar with John, which is fine, but this man had not changed at all for her, and it seemed like she only went back to him because she believed she deserved poverty. What about Mr. Darcy? Mr. Darcy is not only a wealthy man, but a changed man at the end of Pride and Prejudice. It's the biggest if he wanted to, he would. And they do make it a point at the end of the movie that John wants to start working harder for her. I even felt bad for John at one point because Lucy was straight up telling him how she was materialistic and judgmental, and this poor guy is still standing in front of her telling her he loves her, and they're probably going to continue fighting for the rest of their lives because they have different expectations. I think loving someone through struggle and hard times is special, and you should be able to support one another, but that was not the case here. And if he's not willing to grow in this aspect of his life, what other aspects is he going to remain stagnant on? This could have been such a great movie, but they just missed the mark with the writing of John's character, because in every other way, he's great. He was there for her, and he understood her, and he loved her, just not enough to be a better man for her, I guess. I also got a lot of horror movie trailers before the movie started, and I was like, is this going to be a horror movie? And you know what? It was. Because imagine not marrying Pedro Pascal when given the chance. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
And I think Lucy's choice is very realistic too, because she even mentions how their relationship is similar to her parents, and many people end up having the same relationship as their parents had. So it makes sense that she ends up with somebody like John rather than Harry, because in a way, John fits her checkboxes that she doesn't even know about. They're in the same economic tier, they're both good looking, they're both raised the same. And it's supposed to show that Lucy and John are flawed in many ways, but at the end of the day, they love each other, and that's what's going to get them through their life. And so that's their decision, and that's what the movie's trying to portray. And it's a good message. It's just a little upsetting to some. I just think that because it was advertised as a rom-com, we go in with these high expectations, but John is supposed to be a realistic man. And the point of the movie is that Lucy chooses love over materialistic things at the end of the day. And I do think they meant to show how they grew together, because Lucy at the end of the film is not as materialistic as she was at the beginning. She's wearing all these fancy clothes and she has these nice things, but at the end of the film we see her wearing more casual, laid back things to show that she has picked love over money, and it's supposed to be a love wins thing at the end of the day, people, okay? So they try to give it to us, but they just missed the mark a little, okay? I don't think they expected us to critique John's character so harshly, but I think so many women are just traumatized, and it's just so upsetting to go in to this movie expecting, you know, like, while you were sleeping. And I think if we were able to see John and Lucy's relationship a little bit more, we would have rooted for them more, because we don't even know how they fell in love or their story at all. We just know that they love each other because John says so. And I guess you do feel it, but it would have been nice for the audience to have seen a little more backstory, because we're able to see Harry and Lucy's relationship grow, but not theirs. And so I think that's also kind of where they messed up. I enjoyed the movie. I really think it was sweet and humorous, but this one thing just irked me and apparently everyone else, because even the caveman at the beginning of the movie was doing a lot more for his cave woman than John was. Sorry. It was a beautifully captured movie with great shots, and it even had an amazing soundtrack. I thought the end credit scene was cute, and you can even spot them at the courthouse getting married, making the biggest mistake of their lives. Anyways, let me know if you agree. Again, I'm not a hater. I just think it was so close to being really good, and they just really missed the mark with it.
I can get it. It's because I am. There.
Benson Moon ice cream. Ice cream cookie. Wanna be my ice cream, take you off your blue jeans, dance on movies. Feel so mystical, magical.
Should I go first?
Do you have any thoughts or impressions before we have to try it?
It looks good. I like chocolate cookies.
We were talking about how they live here in Jigowan. I thought it was more ornate and more. That's because she has more of a brand than Benson Boone. He's just a colorful guy.
No, that's why. Look,
It's pretty
it's colorful.
I don't know what Moonbeam ice cream is.
I know.
What if we went sometime?
Oh, it's kind of sweet.
Sugar. Tastes like a sugar cookie. There's the chocolate though.
I think the cookie's really good. I don't know what flavor the frosting is. Oh, again.
I know what it is. I would have gone for it more, but I felt it coming back in my throat. I had to swallow.
Killed by the Benson Boone cookie. What about you?
0 out of 10.
Olivia Rodriguez, that little Mexican girl, they be crying. 0 out of 10.
What do you think?
Are you gonna do a backflip?
More edited.
But I want to take a bite of the frosting. It's just a little bit like banana. Am I crazy? Oh, is it because it's yellow? Wait, let me try this purple side.
I think the yellow is moon, and the blue is beam, and the purple is ice cream.
I don't know. It just tastes like fruity.
Yeah. We'll leave that there. Happy Pride Month.
To Benson Boone.
We love you.